Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the 6th edition of the Forbes India Leadership Awards. Well, we'll continue with the awards now, and to present the next set, may I invite on stage the CEO of KKR India, Sanjay Nair, and R.C. Bhargava, the chairman of Maruti Suzuki India, and last year's Lifetime Achievement Awardee. Here's a look at the nominees in the next award this evening, Best CEO, Public Sector.
The nominees for the Best CEO, Public Sector are Anup Kumar Mittal, CMD, National Buildings Construction Corporation; B.C. Tripathi, CMD, GAIL India; Rajiv Sharma, former CMD, Rural Electrification Corporation; S.C. Agnihotri, CMD, Rail Vikas Nigam; Sutirtha Bhattacharya, CMD, Coal India. And the winner is Sutirtha Bhattacharya, CMD, Coal India.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Bhattacharya. Bhattacharya has engineered a turnaround at Coal India by streamlining processes and investing in technology without losing sight of environmental concerns. So I want to just read out a letter that you had written to your employees, which has since then become very famous. You mentioned that Coal India must shrug off years of inertia of monopolistic marketing and switch over to the competitive market with alacrity. What does it take?
What I was trying to tell our people is, for sustainability, you have to behave sustainably. We have to ensure that all stakeholders with us, to whomever we sell, whomever we procure, from whom we take the land, they are all a part of our responsible system, that we respond to them, and that is what we have been sensitizing. Thank you.
And here are the nominees in the next category of the Forbes India Leadership Awards 2016, Conscious Capitalist of the Year.
The nominees for the Conscious Capitalist for the year are Gru Finance, Mahindra Finance, Marico, Zoho Corp, and the winner is Mahindra Finance.
And may I request the Managing Director of Mahindra Finance, Mr. Ramesh Iyer, to please come and receive him. Under Mr. Iyer's leadership, Mahindra Finance has helped transform the lives of 4 million farmers who had no access to formal credit. Why is it that you meet your clients at 7 a.m. and that too in their workplace?
Rural India, most of these farmers go out of their houses after 7. And you still want to meet them, they want to borrow from you, or they won't even repay to you. What do? You have to sacrifice your comfort and meet them at 7 in the morning or after 7 in the evening. Otherwise, we'll be out of business.
Well,
so I think that's what guides us. Thank you.
Well, a lesson to everyone indeed. Thank you very much, sir, and congratulations once again.
This year's Forbes India Leadership Awards also included 2 thought-provoking Oxford-style debates on 2 very pertinent topics, moderated by the chairman of Marico, Harsh Mariwala. The first debate was on the topic that banks and not corporates were responsible for the NPA mess. Sanjay Nair of KKR India chose to speak for the topic and outline the reasons why the banks have been responsible for the NPA mess.
And I want to make 3 clear points. One is, why are we where we are today with the NPMS? It's the banks, stupid banks, okay? The banks' reaction to the problem, pathetic. And the banks' resolution mechanism, and knowing what to do next, probably don't even know where the hell to go from here.
Legal eagle Zia Modi offered some thought-provoking reasons as to why corporates were responsible for the NPA mess.
So I think that, the unspoken threat that corporates have is take my company, go manage it. You're a bank, I'm sure you know how to manage a chewing gum factory, a nuclear factory, every possible factory, go do it.
The second debate featured Manish Sabarwal of Team Lease face off with Vijay Shekhar Sharma of Paytm on whether e-commerce was more hype than reality. Manish argued in favor of e-commerce being more hype than reality.
Internet enables frictionless commerce, but it destroys pricing power, creates infinite supply, lowers switching costs, and encourages negative gross margins. It seems to me that the internet makes an unfair advantage difficult and fleeting.
Vijay Shekhar Sharma opposed him.
Technology is inevitable. It is not the game of those who have not born digital native. It has been proven time and again. Yes, there are times when the race problem of the new world overtakes the old world in a fast and fury like AOL and Time Warner. But in the end, again, the Comcast will win the content because content remains in the traditional world still in a way. And that is exactly what is going to happen in the commerce space in this country.
Forbes India Associate Editor Avik Datta hosted an informal chat with advertising guru Prasun Joshi to find out his views on the changing world of advertising.
Today, you can't take a consumer for granted. You can't get a consumer sitting in one place. It's not a passive consumer, an active advertiser. You've got an active advertiser and an active consumer. Your brand is often discussed in absentia, in social media, while you are not present. But in various groups, your brand is discussed.
Ramdev Agarwal of Motilal Oswal Financial Services provided an optimistic view in his talk on India, the next trillion-dollar opportunity.
NTT juggernaut is rolling, and it is going to happen irrespective of political combinations. I mean, nothing can stop it. It is happening. So every successive trillion-dollar GDP will be achieved in shorter frame, and it will throw its own exponential opportunities for the businesses. Second, linear GDP growth will lead to exponential opportunity in discretionary categories. Invest heavily in existing and emerging winners to predictable, exceptional returns. Thank you very much.
Carbon to Silicon, How Software Will Reinvent the Future of Work was the title of Harvard scholar Rohan Murthy's presentation. The focus of the presentation was to decode the role of software in the coming years.
If you again go back to software being this Pac-Man that's eating the world, as an example, software has been eating many different industries and making changes in many different industries. These are just, just as a set of examples. But the coming change that the tech industry must and will embrace is one where software will eat software. And that's really the message that I have.
It's now down to the two biggest awards for the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, to present these awards, let me invite on stage the chairman of the Godrej Group, Mr. Adi Godrej, the chairman of Marico, Mr. Harsh Mariwala, and the editor of Forbes India, Saurav Majumdar. And it's now time to announce the Lifetime Achievement Awards. So here's a look at the awardees. of CIPLA, Dr. Yusuf Hamid. Can we please have a standing ovation?
Firstly, thanks to Forbes for this award. Secondly, Forbes International will complete 100 years next September. So they may also get a Lifetime Achievement Award next year. My parents gave me life. Bombay and Cambridge educated me. India taught me how to live and was responsible for me personally to contribute to the world. I'm therefore indebted to all three for what I have received today. And once again, my deep appreciation to all at Forbes for this award, which I will always treasure. Thank you.
And now, for the final award of the evening, Entrepreneur of the Year. Here's a look at the nominees.
The nominees for the Entrepreneur for the Year are Sanjeev Bajaj, MD, Bajaj Finserv; Vinu Srinivasan, Chairman and MD, TVS Motor Company; Vinita Gupta and Nilesh Gupta, CEO and MD, Lupin. And the winners are Vinita Gupta and Nilesh Gupta, CEO and MD,
integrating their
Lupin.
operations with their own, Vinita and Nilesh Gupta have engineered exponential growth and global recognition. Okay, so what's the secret behind successfully integrating a company with your own culture and your ethos? How do you guys do it so well?
We take every opportunity we get to emphasize our culture, our strategy, our values, the fact that our approach has been about valuing what we're acquiring, combining that with the best of Lupin. So best of what we're getting, best of Lupin, has gone a long way to build a buy-in with the management teams that we have brought into the organization.
Okay.
I think, two of our biggest acquisitions that did really well were Japan and South Africa. In both of these, I think the first step was just letting them be. These were good, thriving businesses with strong management teams, and it was just about letting them be. And then came, we brought in some of the financial controls, we brought in the technology, starting with stuff like SAP and building on that. And if you go through this process, I think it creates a lot of buy-in. It creates a lot of trust and confidence. And then it just opens the door.
A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
The word monopoly, monopoly, monopoly has been the bane of the healthcare industry for India.
It's now our privilege to unveil the cover of a very special edition of Forbes India that highlights the pursuits and achievements of the 2016 Forbes India Leadership Award winners. May I please request Vinita and Nilesh Gupta to do the honors. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, please. Well, congratulations, looking good. Nilesh and Vinita, can I please request you to stay back? Presenters, thank you very much for doing the honors. And may I also invite Dr. Hamid, could you please join us on stage, sir? It's now time for a very special interaction with CNBC TV 18's executive editor, Latha Venkatesh.
Well, Dr. Hamid, let me start with the flavor of the moment. A great step has been taken by the Prime Minister to ensure that only legal money prevails and illegal money is outlawed in a day. If you want to suggest one step which will make health as revolutionarily available for India, what would that one or two steps be?
I'm a great believer that the best thing for India that happened in 1972 was the changing of the Patent Act, which said that in healthcare there will be no monopoly. The word monopoly, monopoly, monopoly has been the bane of the healthcare industry for India. I think with the population approaching 1.65 billion, we cannot afford a monopoly in healthcare. And my fervent wish to the government is to take us in the industry in confidence and bring in laws that will help India. What we did in 1972, between 72 and 2005, we, the Indian industry with Lupin, myself, Wockhardt, Randbag, whatever it was, we built up the Indian indigenous industry that we are now considered the pharmacy of the world.
What can we do to replicate that 1972
Bring
act?
it back in. Or, as a scientist, I respect science. What I have suggested at the UN recently was the following. There should be voluntary licensing of drugs that are sold under monopoly worldwide. If that is not possible, then there should be obligatory licensing that I can go to the company and ask them for a license. If that is not possible and they refuse, then I think it is very important that our government in India bring in what is called a pragmatic, compulsory licensing policy.
I think they need to really incentivize companies to invest into research. I mean, for us to really have a strong indigenous industry that serves the cause of India, we have to innovate for India. And I think the government needs to really consider, what does it take for the Indian industry to start investing into research to develop drugs for causes.
Nilesh, one thing that has surprised me about the way you handle US FDA issues. How is it that whether it was Mandideep or Goa, you solve your US FDA questions in weeks, if not in days? What is it that you're getting right?
I think it's our long-term intent, right? We don't live quarter to quarter. We live for the long term. We're here for the long term. Our team understands that very clearly as well. And then therefore they understand that when it comes to quality, when it comes to doing the right thing, there will be no compromise on that. So we had issues. We rolled up our sleeves, we worked, we went back to the FDA, and they bought into our story, and we have an obligation to live up to that expectation.
Dr. Hamid, do you think the US FDA is fair and square? It sometimes seems that they are after us.
No, they are absolutely fair and square. And there is no doubt about it. You have to follow the standards. It's like all of us, we live by the laws of the land. In India, we live by Indian laws. In America, if you go, like Vinita, you have to live by American laws. You can't compromise on that, like Nilesh said. So I'm a great believer that do in your country what is best for you.
Years back, we suddenly saw this huge movement in the pharma industry, this huge event in the pharma industry of one of the leading companies, Ranbaxy, getting taken over. What should we expect from Lupin? Would you be open for such a massive, gigantic international handshake, not necessarily taken over, but probably amalgamated?
Our lens has always been to acquire, not be acquired. But in the right markets, in the right situations, you do partner, right? We don't see suppliers competition. We see them as somebody whom we work with closely.
On that note, Dr. Hamid and the Guptas, thank you very much and congratulations yet again.
Thank you very much. And may I also request all the winners, the jury members and the sponsors, as well as all the awardees to please come on stage for one quick photo op.
Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.